Got a question here from Dalia Malo too. What would you be able to buy if you're only on 50k per year? That's a great question. Now, before we begin, there are two roadblocks that will stop a person that's on a $50,000 income buying a property. Number one, as you're asking right now, it's income. And number two, it's deposit. Now, we call these limiting factors in lending. So for example, you might have like a $3 million property paid off, but you have very minimal income. You can't borrow as much from the $3 million because you can't service it. And number two, deposit. So you might be on a six-figure income, like $150,000, but if you lack a deposit, for example, you only have like, $2 or $3 grand in your bank account, then that also limits your borrowing power. Having said this, let's just assume that you have the deposit down patched. On $50,000, based on a generic servicing calculator, you can borrow between $280,000 to $300,000 on $50,000, assuming you have no credit cards, no other loans, and you're single with no children. So back to your question, you're saying, what can you buy with that salary? Let's go back to assuming that you have 10% deposit and we're borrowing at 90%. You can purchase a property between $310,000 to $315,000. Now let's head to realestate.com and you can possibly buy a property at Lumia for $319,000. Now, obviously, that's a little bit over the budget of this example, but I'm just assuming that you have 10% deposit. You might have more than $30,000. You might have between $30,000 to $40,000. On a $50,000 income and your deposit size is reasonable, like I just mentioned, you can buy a property that is in Lumia and it looks pretty okay, floor plan, everything. Look, that's just an example. I'm not the agent selling you that property. I just simply picked a random suburb that is cheap, which is Campbelltown. That's around that price range and that's still within Sydney. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.